That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks, on a different vibe. It's a different vibe this Monday. It's a little weird. It's throwing me off, but Notre Dame people are in a better mood, folks. We just are. We just are. So, what a way to start off the bye week than a whole bunch of Notre Dame people being in a better mood than we've been all year. All year. Okay? Even after Cal and you won, but nobody felt good, this one feels a little different. This one feels like progress is made. It just does. And I don't care if you're going to tell me how bad North Carolina's defense is. Notre Dame needed this for Notre Dame to feel better about themselves entering the bye after a rough September. All right? That's what happened. This team feels probably about as good as any team could feel given how the first 2 weeks of the season went. Even though I'll go the first 3 weeks, including a win in that. Even with the win, it was rough. So, geez, I mean, it's okay to feel better about it. All right. And I do too. But we're going to talk about some of this. How much of this is Notre Dame genuinely improving? How much of this was North Carolina's documentably, factually bad at defense? We can have that discussion, and a lot of people have with me. John, settle down. You're getting too excited. Listen, folks, Notre Dame's not good enough to get picky about how wins look right now. They're not, folks. We're not there. Like that vision of where we want to be, we're not there yet. So I can't get on my high horse and start asking for perfection in 900 yards offense and all this. I can't. And I can't look at a competent offensive performance with good diversity through different players and positions that I'm actually pleased with and be like, nope, it's just North Carolina sucks. Like, I can't. Some of it is they're really bad, but we made improvements. If you're looking, you'll be able to tell they structured that offense a lot differently. And it's the right call. It's late. That's the frustration. They changed the way they're trying to run this offense. And I like the new direction. It's late. Should have been the direction before you caught 2 L's. So that's a legitimate complaint. But Notre Dame played a lot better. And this is just what you needed to see. The fan base needed to see it. The players needed to know it and go into the bye feeling better. I love it. Okay. 812, Nick, I see you there. And I saw your chat. Phone calls. I think we're going to have more of them today. Here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. This is the fairest way I know how to do this. And forgive me, I'm learning how to screen these calls and do all this on the fly. When I have more calls, everybody has to have less time so I could get people through and not have a bunch of people waiting. If I have fewer calls in a day or an hour for any time, the people who do call, if their thoughts are decent, they get more time. I don't know any other way to do it, to be fair. So we're going to get to a bunch of calls today. There's some people lined up. So I'm going to go over a couple bullet points first. Then we're going to get to your calls. People want to have their voice heard. That's what this is about. And I'm going to kind of try and stay out of the way a little bit and ask some questions, see how people feel. So that's how it has to be, folks. More calls is good for the show, but each person, we got to tighten it up so I can get through it to be fair. All right. I'm doing my best on that. I always feel bad when I leave people out, though. Let's get the introductions out of the way. We got into that because I got excited. Obviously, hit subscribe on YouTube if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. Helps in the search algorithm. Notifications on. You'll be alerted every time a new episode drops, whether it's a live stream or a recorded video. Twitter, search bar Always Irish, rat, Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want me, you could get me, except for I'm lying because these live streams are too long to put into my system for MP3. So on this one, you got to go to YouTube. All the regular shows are recorded into MP3 format for those of you that drive and or just don't want to look at my face throughout the day. God bless you. I can't blame anybody who's like, yeah, I like John's stuff. I don't need to see that face all day. All right. So listen to it on MP3. beautiful. Okay. 312-900-8815. Light them up. Light them up. Okay. Announcement time first. Yeah. James Thompson, that quarterback, Jesus Christ, did pretty good. Yeah, he did. He was basically floating through the defense, no problems, turning loaves of fish into steak, all that stuff. Oh, boy. First things first, folks. If you haven't noticed by now, I have some new content stuff out. And it is with USA Today Fighting Irish Wire. So I have made a deal and accepted a contract with USA Today Fighting Irish Wire. This is going to be a little bit of everything, folks. It's going to be me in print on the website. And if you'll notice, I have a couple articles up. I started over the weekend, submitted a couple draft articles to get used to the system. They said they were good, put them up on the website. So we're up and running on USA Today Fighting Irish Wire. Whenever I post an article on Irish Wire in print, I will link it through Twitter or in a description of a video if it links to something that we're doing here. But I am very, very excited to join this group. I trust them. I like working with them. We have a big picture vision. It's a little different because I'm starting in the middle of the year. They found me and we put this together midstream. So a lot of what they have going for this year's going, and then we're going to get through this year and then we'll set stuff up for next year that's going to be exciting. So I hope you guys don't mind crossing over. Read a little bit. It's good for your mind. Look at me yell and then read it in print. It makes your mind think of this information different. Okay. So I would appreciate if you click over and check that out, and all the other guys, Nick Shepkowski and the other guys at USA Today Fighting Irish Wire. They do a good job. It's a good group. A lot of information. Be there. Thank you for the kind words, folks. Appreciate that. Chris Totten, $5. Thanks for being here as always, Chris. ND finally came out, looked great against the team they're supposed to against. Look at the juxtaposition against Marshall and Cal. I'll take it. You kind of have to. Right now, you're looking at progress right now. That's what you're looking for. That's what I asked for entering this ball game. Progress. Show me you got better. And we were hoping offensively with the struggles North Carolina has, we'd be able to see some of that, and we did. I see some Clemson people in here, Clemson Tigers, saying it's going to be a great game. Here's the deal with the Clemson thing. I know they're taking some heat about their ball game over the weekend. At least they won. That's all I can say. At least they won. Everybody's going to say, oh, that's ugly. They're not supposed to be ranked where they should be ranked. They won. So whatever. And they keep it moving. So people are going to say whatever they want to say. Clemson keeps winning. They're in good shape. So that's what that's going to come down to. So Chris, thanks for the donation so much. V1 Rotate V2, always here. Thanks for being here again. Does it feel weird to be upset after a big Notre Dame win? 7-8-6? Wait a second. Who's upset? I'm not upset. I'm in a decent mood. We feel better. Who's upset? Tell me, Rotate. So, couple things here, then the phone lines. Number one, good job for Drew Pine. I'm so happy for this guy. Ultimate Notre Dame fighter, tough kid, undersized. Like we all know all that stuff. Naturally kind of working against Drew Pine. Great job, man. I believe since the Tommy Rees incident, he's had like 5 touchdown passes or something and an outrageous, a good completion percentage. I love it. Like, it's beautiful. So good for him, man. He takes a lot of crap. He's the backup. People like me say he's not big enough, like all of that. So good job for him. He is doing all you could ask Drew Pine to do. It ain't Trevor Lawrence back there. Like, he is doing all I could ask Drew Pine to do with his skill set, what he's dealing with, all the dynamics. He's doing as good as you could ask. He really is. He's not turning the ball over. Like right now, Drew Pine is doing exactly what you asked somebody in Drew Pine to do. and he's doing a good job of it, and probably would be doing a better job of it if he had better wide receivers and people around him even. Okay? So great job for him. That's a guy everybody wants to see succeed and win. Phone lines are filling up today, folks. I'm about to shut up and let you guys get after it, okay? One more thing I saw, and I believe it was Marcus in the locker room addressing the guys after the team. Man, you want to talk about Pine being a guy people want to see succeed and do well. Marcus Freeman's the same way, man. You could tell that energy and that vibe was up in that locker room thing, like kind of starting to feel yourselves a little. Like I just felt that, like a tiny little bit of swag, like as much swag as you're allowed to have after losing your first 2 ball games is the amount of swag we had. And it just seemed like there was a different energy, in a different vibe after this game. And Marcus is just a guy people want to win for and they want to play for. They just do. It's beautiful. They really do. Okay. We got a donation. V1 Rotate 2, $4.99, 786 area code. Like I said, folks, fairest system in the world. You donate money and you want to call, you jump the list. That's America. That's America, folks. What did I say? 786. Don't miss. You're on the air.
Hey, John. How's it going?
Going very well. Happy Monday. How are we feeling?
Well, when I was saying that, I was feeling a little upset. Now, I'm not mad that we won. It's just, I kind of feel, it's just a little weird. Not a bad thing that we played so well. But as I'm watching this game, and I'm watching this offensive line go, I'm watching Drew Pine play, I'm just sitting there thinking, like, where the hell was this the whole time? After the Ohio State game, we all said that Tommy Rees needs to move the ball. We need to move the ball vertically up the field. We need to stretch the ball vertically. We need to give the ball to the people who can run it. You know, Estime, Tyree, Mayer. Like, we need to let them play power football. Let them use their size, run right up the middle, take 3 or 4 people to take him down as he's dragging them 10 yards up the field. You know, we need to build an offense around a team. We'll build a playbook, I guess you can say, around the offensive line that we have and not try to make something that's not there. And when you do that, you give the ball to your playmakers. You let Drew Pine throw the ball. You let them win in their outside coverages. You let them run the ball up the middle, something that they're good at. We score 45 points and win football games. I don't understand why it took 4 games to figure that out. Now, we played like that against Ohio State. We win that game. Now, we played like that against Marshall and Cal. It would not even been close. Like, where was it?
Yep. Now, all decided. You're right. You're right. And yeah, you're spot on this. And so there's 2 things at once here. You're bringing up a great point. There's 2 things at once at the exact same time. Number 1 is, I am thrilled we got an actual offensive output to be proud of with respectable numbers and a lot of guys getting involved, particularly all 3 running backs having huge numbers. I love that. Passing in, running beautiful, all of that. I'm thrilled we did that. And also I'm saying what you are. Why was Rees trying to jam the offense he wanted it to be down our throats instead of dealing with the offense he had and could be? And why did we have to lose a couple games to make that adjustment or to notice this isn't going to work or whatever? You're fair in that frustration. I guess, should we just be glad that it's been realized now and that they're structuring things the right way? But it is fair to ask, why did it take so long when all of us knew what it needed to be? Why were they the last ones to figure it out? I think that's fair. And do you put that all on Rees then to know what he has and adapt?
Yes, 100%. I put that all on Rees. I don't know what he wanted to see over the last few weeks, but we have always had the talent to beat all these teams. And it's so frustrating to see us lose to Marshall when we know we have the talent to beat them. Why wasn't that talent being used? And no, I would 100% put that all on Rees. I don't know if there's something that he's trying to make out of something that there's not, but
he tried to make
perfect.
Well, dude, he tried to make He tried to make Tyler Buckner up a drop back passing quarterback early in the year. And even when Buckner's in one piece, that is not his strength. And it was never going to be his strength. Even with perfect health, a drop back passing Tyler Buckner was never the way to use him. And then Reese came out, and 47 of his 50 passes were planned dropbacks in the pocket, and only 3 were scheduled on the move. I totally don't see that vision at all. I'm shocked that was how they started the year. And then they realized very early on that ain't going to work. And then he got hurt and it messed it all up anyways. But the plan coming in this year was what Reese wanted it to be in a perfect world, and ignored our realities of personnel, wide receiver, 100%. Quarterback inexperience, all of that. So there was a miscalculation there. And maybe that's the risk you have when you hand all the keys to Reese and there isn't an older head guy there to help, or I don't know. Your complaint is very fair. I'm at least happy it seems like we're past it, I guess.
I'm just, like I said, man, I'm just happy we won. I'm actually more upset a little bit more on the defensive side of things. Even though they played well, I don't know how we're giving up 4th and goal for touchdowns, how we're giving up 4th and 21 for touchdowns, how we're getting busted coverage up back in the field. He's throwing 70-yard touchdowns every time he touches the ball. This May kid, obviously he's good, but I mean that's got to change. But other than that, this is a team that can go 10-2 easy and win bowl games. You know, we need that quarterback to make us win playoff games. But I mean, after this week, I don't think you change much. You know what I'm saying? Let's not break something. Let's not fix something that's not broken right now. It's working.
Yep. I think
we didn't do this weeks ago.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
So do you feel like this might be a template, and then you hope over the bye week you have a couple more weeks to get it all smoothed out even better, find some new wrinkles? But this has to be what the offense is going to be this year if Notre Dame's going to win more games. Like, you're going to have to power run the ball, and it's going to have to be good, and then you're going to have to diversify the ball to everybody you can, passing or running, getting the tight ends and those running backs involved more. I love it. You're going to need it. And so I think you found a recipe here. But can you get better off it? You know, can you get some wrinkles on top of it to surprise BYU? But I'm proud of Pine, man. I can't really ask Drew Pine to do much more than he's doing right now. I can't.
I think that with Drew Pine now, it's going to open up more opportunities for Notre Dame, because now we know that, hey, he can throw the football a little bit. You know, you give him enough time, you get a receiver or a tight end that's open, you actually can move the ball off the field. And the fact that his best college football touchdown wasn't even on TV just blows my mind. I don't know what the camera crew was doing. But wasn't
that the most messed up thing ever, dude? Wasn't that the most messed up thing ever? Notre Dame's most exciting offensive play of the year. Finally, like a pass down the middle of the field to the back of the end zone to our good receiver off a little cute fake. It's such a good play, most exciting of the year, what we've all been begging for. And go figure, ESPN and ABC don't even catch it on camera. Welcome to Notre Dame, folks. That's just how easy things have gone for us this year. It wasn't even on TV, man. Couldn't even see our most exciting play. We've been begging for a month. Can we just get a deep pass for a good gain or a touchdown? We got it. Wasn't even on TV. Welcome to Notre Dame in 2022, baby. Nothing comes easy.
Right. I was very kind of frustrated about that, because he threw the ball and they're still focusing on him. And we're like, okay, where'd the ball go? And the next thing you know, they pan to the end zone and he's celebrating and the referee's got his hands up. I'm like, oh, we scored? Oh, well, that would have been nice to see. But no, we just can't have it. No, that would be too easy.
I know, man. I'm just glad it happened. Like, I'm just glad it happened. Even though I missed it, I was like, I know it happened. There will be a replay. So the defense, here's my thought on the defense. I do think the linebacker play improved some, and that was really, really needed. After the first drive, they stopped letting May run. They started hitting him. They weren't losing the edge the way they were the first few weeks. Right. However, there were some really, really bad breakdowns and just kind of total mishaps. My only confidence is this whole season, going into it even, I've been saying the defense is a lot closer to where we want it to be overall than the offense. And I'm confident some of that stuff in the back end can be cleaned up over the next couple weeks. I just have more confidence the defense cleans things up than the offense because they have further to go to get to elite, in my opinion. So I don't feel as nervous as I would, if the defense played great at North Carolina, the offense sucked again, different problem. So I feel a little better about it being this way.
No, I would agree with that. I feel like going into the defensive side, what they needed to do is we all knew how good this May kid was. We couldn't give him the time to air out these massive balls down the field. And at the end of the day, that's the only way they scored. We gave him too much time. His wide receiver just beats our wide receiver 9 out of 10 times, and he catches the ball and runs it into the end zone. So
yeah, it was.
I don't really know.
It was frustrating.
That is to blame, but
yeah,
that's not going to be every quarterback that we come up against, though. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone's going to be able to throw it like he's going to be able to throw it. But that was definitely a weaker part, and that's why the score line is a lot closer than it probably looks. Because without those 3 touchdowns, UNC wasn't doing anything.
Yeah,
we had him beat up and down the field all game.
Hey, man, he still had 5 touchdowns. We're sitting here feeling good. You let a guy that isn't even old enough to buy beer throw for 5 touchdowns on you. So, I'm not loving that, but I'm much more focused on the improvements on offense than what I saw negatively on defense, because I just have more trust in that unit to be able to put it together and show it up than I did the offense. Now, this BYU game, though, that's going to be interesting. We're going to talk a lot of big picture by this week. I'm telling you, though, that BYU game is going to be a big deal, and it is going to be another big test to see if we could take the next step.
Yeah, I think BYU just lost maybe last week to Florida State. Maybe
they do have a loss,
but
yeah.
Honestly, as much as this is going to suck to hear, but I know everybody wants to see us do all these big groundbreaking changes, and obviously some things need to be filtered out and switched. I'm just saying, whatever we did there worked. We fixed the little things here and there that might not be the greatest, and I just don't see how we take this and change it drastically. That's what I'm worried about. What if we decide to go back to how we played against Marshall and now we get blown out? You know what I'm saying? I'm just so scared that he's going to want to switch everything up and change everything around when the recipe that you have to win is there.
That would be number one. It would be absolutely appalling if you took this game plan that worked and then went into BYU and tried to do something different. I think you take this exact offensive template and then you try and get better at doing what worked, and then you start creating offshoots from it to give you more diversity within it. That is the recipe offensively, 100%. But you do bring up another good point that I want to bring up the next 2 weeks. I always talk about, I'm interested to see how teams come out of bye weeks. Are they tight, ready to go, all set? Or did it throw off their routine and they're a little sluggish and they didn't handle the bye right? We have not seen Marcus Freeman do this yet. I'm very intrigued to see how we come out of the bye. Marcus's first time in a weird environment in Vegas. That interests me. I'm very interested to see how that first quarter goes against BYU. Are we ready after the bye? Big test for Marcus in his first year. Bye week prep.
I haven't seen BYU play at all this year. I watched Clemson play. I watched their overtime yesterday because pretty sure it Saturday, because I'm pretty sure it dragged into the Notre Dame game. But I don't know. I just feel like we should be winning these. We should win this game against BYU. I don't really know if you had a question in there, but coming out of the bye week again, let's take what wasn't working great. Let's change that maybe a little bit. Let's figure out how come we're busting coverage down the field. Let's close that pocket in a little bit, make the quarterback feel uncomfortable, keep doing what we're doing. We beat BYU. I don't know. That's just my game plan.
Yep.
I think we beat BYU.
Man, that would be a good run of momentum.
I was wrong about UNC.
That would be a good run of momentum. And the thing is, here's the other thing, man. If you get by BYU, then you have Stanford and UNLV after that. Now you're on a little bit of a roll because Stanford's bad at football and doesn't have any interest in not being. It seems like they're fine, just not being any good all of a sudden. So if you pull that BYU off, then you're in a situation where you can rip off Stanford, UNLV, and then start looking at Syracuse before Clemson. So that BYU game is a real fulcrum turning pivot point. It's turned into a big one, and we got a half a month to worry about it, man. So we're going to see how it goes. But I thank you for the call. I thank you very much for the donation. Your concern is a fair one. And it's a good question to ask. Why is our offensive staff the last ones to realize how this needs to look? That is a perfectly fair complaint on a Monday morning, man.
Yeah. I appreciate the call. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, man. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Hey, I've been saying that the whole time. This looked a lot more like what the offense has to look like for Notre Dame to move the ball this year. If you had 5 or 6 great receivers or something, we're having a different discussion. What we saw is what it has to be this year. Almost 300 passing, 300 rushing. I don't expect that every week, obviously, but I just mean the balance. And then I love the fact that Estime, Tyree, Diggs were all involved all day, running the ball, catching the ball. Beautiful. I love it. Use what you have, and it ain't wide receivers right now. Use all those backs. Use the tight ends more. Gonna have to. Pine showed some spark. When are we going to see Angeli given a shot? You're not unless Pine gets hurt or there's a blowout. Like, really, where we sit right now, you're not going to see Angeli unless there's an injury to Pine. Worst case scenario, part 2, or there's a blowout. I'm just telling you, that's the way it's going to go. Obviously, if the game is comfortably in hand, we're winning or losing, you could put Angeli in. But they're not going to run him out there for packages just in the middle of the game. That ain't going to happen if Pine's upright and we're moving the ball. Let's see. We got a bunch of calls today. Let's get through them. 469. Let's wine and dine. Hello. I can hear the breeze. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind is what I hear on this guy's phone line. It's just the breeze, the fall breeze. 469. Wake up. Going. Gone. Put the phone. I think he just picked up right when I did that too. Right when I hung up, I think I heard him grabbing the phone. Oh my God. Call again if that's what happened. My bad. Oh, what else? I had a couple things start here. We're going 812-937 are going to be the next two. Kent, the resident Ohio State, always Irish fan, yet nobody listens to me. I told y'all running the ball is the formula. Kent, I can't let you come in here as Captain Ohio State and then act like you're the only one that suggested running the ball would be a good idea for Notre Dame this year. The problem is we weren't any good at it or able to do it the first few weeks of the year. I agree with your concept, but I can't act like you're the only one who said, you know what? We have no wide receiver depth and a young quarterback backup playing. Running the ball is a bad idea. Said none of us. It's just a matter that we weren't able to run the ball for whatever reason the first few weeks. Matt Miller, John, can we talk about how wildly overrated Michigan is since the bye week? You want to know how wildly overrated? They currently have the worst strength of schedule in all of America. There's 131 teams in Division I college football. They have the worst strength of schedule of all of them. dead last. Okay. Not a great scene for them, but they schedule in wins and they're not penalized for it. So who are you mad at? Oh, I get it. Michigan schedules it on purpose. They know what they're doing. But I'm also mad that no one holds any of these teams accountable for that week schedule. They talk about how it matters. It really doesn't. They all talk about how that matters, but it doesn't when it comes down to it. Not one time has the playoff committee said, look at who they went and scheduled on purpose out of conference for easy wins. I'm dinging them for that. You're not getting credit for that whole first month of the season you played high school teams. Never. So until that happens, nobody's being penalized for scheduling nobody. They schedule wins. That's it. John, have you considered selling merch? Absolutely. And it's in the works. I'm building out a Shopify store with my stuff and other stuff. I'm doing it right, building it from scratch. And then Shopify made a deal with YouTube where you can integrate your Shopify store directly through YouTube. That is what I'm working on. It is just tedious. And I'm not putting out a website until it's done right. It has to be perfect. Otherwise, I'm not starting it. So I'm building that out. It's taking some time. We're getting there, but I appreciate you asking. 812, what it do? You're on the line.
Hey, what's up, John?
What's going on today? Happy Monday. What are you feeling? You feel a little pep in your step here today or what?
Oh, yeah, I feel a whole lot better.
How can you not?
I want to thank you for doing this show. You give Notre Dame fans a voice. And even Kent, I even like Kent and his repartee with you. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
I'm so glad that I'm so glad we finally ran the football. I'm so glad that Mr. Estime, or as I call him, Beastime, was the main guy because he needs to be. Tyree, he's fun to watch. He's fast. Keep giving him the ball on those sweeps. But this offense finally got its identity, and we need to keep doing it the way we did it yesterday.
Yeah, it's
Saturday. Sorry.
It is. That's the recipe. Like, that was the exact recipe that it has to be as a starting point from which to expand from, is the exact offense we saw. And I realized their defense is bad, but we needed to get right. And I don't care if their defense is bad. Lucky for us, one thing broke our way then, that we played that team that afternoon when we needed it. All right. That's the formula. I love the balance. You had almost 300 yards on both sides of the ball. All those backs got involved. The diversification was as good as it could be, having a limited wide receiver group, and I love to see it. It was really pretty to see for once.
So what do you think is going on with the linebackers? I mean, I thought they were going to be a strength of our team this year, and I don't know if they're just overreacting or not reacting enough or what, but they're like in a fog. What's going on with them, man?
Now, I will say this. I felt like it got a little better this week. They have been on my list of complaints. And when I did my USA Today pregame article, writing what I'm looking at, concerns and confidences, that linebacker group was on there. I do think they played a little better in this ball game. The first drive, they let the quarterback run on him. Then they shut that down, started hitting him. They started being better on the edges when we've been losing the perimeter every week. And your two leading tacklers in this game were both linebackers. Kaiser with 9, Leofow 6. There was a little progress there, but then the back end of the defense played worse. So I think we got a little better play out of linebackers, but we gave up more in the deep passing game that I don't like.
Yeah, I saw that too. I just don't understand why these linebackers aren't just blowing people up. I mean, the way I've seen it, they've had open paths to hit backs, hit run quarterbacks, and they just aren't doing it. I mean, that's my take on it.
Yeah, it's a little, it just seems like they're taking that one extra second to process instead of just reacting with instinct and doing. And when you're a linebacker, that's all it takes. That half a second is the difference between your blitz getting home and not, or you filling a run gap or not, or shedding a block or not, or beating a guy to the edge or not. And I feel like they're thinking a little too much more than reacting. And I don't know what's causing that, but I hope it gets a little better and looks more natural out there.
Yeah. It's funny at my job, they always say, do you think, Nick? And I go, no, I don't think. I just read and react and hit them hard like a linebacker does. And our linebackers aren't doing that this year.
Yeah, in linebacker especially is one of those very intuitive positions. And it's what I love most about good linebacker play. The best ones just have that nuanced, innate feeling of where to be. They have a sense of where the play's going, where to be, where the ball's going to be. I love that. Like the just that internal existential linebacker thing, that natural instinct to be around the ball and know where you're going to be. Even like Drew Tranquil had that, like undersized or whatever, sure, but he had that knack to just know where to be. And the thing is, there's talent there too, and there's talent coming into that linebacker room. I think it's going to get better, but I definitely need it tightened up the rest of this year.
I was really happy to see Prince Kali play a little bit Saturday.
We've been asking for it. We've been asking for it. I said Friday and Saturday morning, if these guys aren't getting the job done, give me that dog. Oh, give me that collie.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
I love seeing that.
Again, thanks for doing this show, man. I tune in as much as I can. I take my lunch break early so I can get the last hour of your show on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today I'm off. It's my wife's birthday, and I asked her, I said, are you going to be upset if I'm watching Always Irish at 9 a.m.? And she said, no, I know you got a kind of a man crush on him like he has on Marcus Freeman. So go ahead and do it.
Listen, you know what, man? You should be, man, you're in the doghouse now. You should be doing bed and breakfast, making her pancakes and bacon with the little stand in bed, with the orange juice. You should be doing that on your wife's birthday. But no, you're yelling about football with me, and I love you for it.
Hey, I took the day off. She's at work right now. I got up and made her breakfast, but she's at work right now. She didn't take her birthday off. What the hell's wrong with her?
Well, then it looks like you got a free day then. Do what you want to do and then be nice to her later. I appreciate this, though. Thank you for your priorities. You're a guy who has your priorities in order, and I like it.
Hey, one of my priorities last year at the USC game was trying to hook up with you and buy you a beer, but I couldn't find you anywhere, man.
You know what?
I was chasing you all around.
I'm telling you, man. I learned the hard way. I honestly learned the hard way. I cannot do what I tried to do for that USC game. I tried to meet 10 different people, 10 different places, was always on the move all weekend, Friday and Saturday. And then every time I'd go somewhere, other people would go there, but I'd be at the next place. I'm not doing that anymore. So I'll be in town for Stanford. I have something planned pregame for that, for the 77 reunion. That team's coming back. I'm going to be doing something for that in the Monogram room. But Clemson, I'm going to be back all day for Clemson, and we have a great tailgate. I'm telling people, I am at this tailgate flying my 3-foot by 5-foot Always Irish flag 40 feet in the air. Come party with me. You got to find me. So I'll be in the same spot that from now on.
All right. We will try to hook up. Definitely, sir.
Well, are you going to be there for, are you going to be there for Clemson?
No, man. Those tickets are too pricey for me.
Yeah. Stanford.
We'll see what we can come up with.
Beautiful. Let me know. Be in touch. Thanks for the call,
right,
man. Have a good week. The good start to the bye week. And tell your wife, happy birthday. And I'm sorry that that you enjoy my content. Plays decent offense one week, and people are just in a way better mood. It's just the way we are. It's just the way we are. Look at Kent being nice to people. He appreciates the caller who was nice to him. Here's the deal. And I told Kent this last week. If you think I am kidding about this, you are not kidding. Kent, I need you to come to Notre Dame for the Notre Dame-Ohio State game next year, and you're going to be my guest. And so That's what we're going to do. We're bringing this full circle, Kent. I need you to come to South Bend for that game and be my guest that day, okay, at Notre Dame. That's what I want to do. I just think it'd be fun. And I make friends everywhere I go. I like talking to people. 260, you're my hero. You're on the line.
Good morning, John. Happy Monday. How we doing?
I'm feeling a lot better about things than I have been on these Monday morning shows so far this year. I'm sorry. It's just a little offensive output puts me in a better mood.
Right? Winning is the greatest penicillin in the life, man.
There is no substitute for winning. There is nothing. Money, cars, women, I don't care. There is no substitute for winning ever in life in any regard.
And not just winning, but winning the way that Notre Dame should win. You know, their MO, which is line play. I mean, that is the greatest difference in the last two games. Well, last game and a half, where offensive side of the ball, the line is moving forward consistently. Forward. Defensive side of the ball, the line is going backward. You know, that is the MO. That is what this team was supposed to be. And we're starting to finally see it. We're starting to finally see an offensive line that has much better technique than last year. I mean, noticeably better technique than last year. At least they stay on blocks.
But now I felt like it took a couple weeks, though. I felt like the technique was an issue early on, and then now it's tightened up and they're rounding into form. And I'm glad to see it. I just expected it to look better right away than it did, and it didn't.
Right. And as I've been preaching the last few weeks on your show, man, it takes time for an offensive line to gel. I mean, we were down Patterson against Ohio State.
And nobody wants to have that kind of patience either. You're being so reasonable because I get what you're saying, but you know how we are. Nobody has that kind of patience. And especially me with O-line, like come in ready to block.
That's the beautiful thing about the Notre Dame fan base. You know, it's unbelievable to me that you can watch the season year in and year out, and you don't understand that week one is survival, and also don't overreact. That's the two things to take away from week one.
But that's so hard. Do you realize how much you're asking of everybody? Like you wait all year from a bowl game in like early January, and then every day you think about the first game, and then it comes, and then you're like, oh, that was it? That's what I was waiting for 9 months? You're like, come on, man.
True. I hear you. But that's the thing that I have to just keep in my mind. I mean, I take it more of like a player standpoint, but I watch it instead of a fan standpoint. So I guess that's just kind of how I look at it, you know. But having said that, it was good. I wish that Estime finishes that drive off. You know, 52-26 sounds a lot better.
Yeah, no, that 14. Hey, man, wait. You bring up a good point, man. Mm-hmm. That 14-point swing kind of hurt me. But then I also it was a 14-point swing. We're going into score, we give it up, and then we give up a dumb touchdown. That was extremely frustrating because it made this game look a lot better than it actually, a lot closer than it actually was. At the same time, I don't know if we're good enough that I'm allowed to be that picky at this point. But that was a 14-point swing you hate to see. And also on the negative, we did get off to another slow start, and you're not going to be able to pull that off every week. You know, you allowed a touchdown to a young, hot quarterback at home with momentum, and then you go 3 and out. So slow start, I didn't love. The 14-point swing, I didn't love. But pretty much Notre Dame dictated the gameplay most of the day in a lot of other ways, and I like that. So what do you think of Drew Pine's day? I couldn't ask for more of them. By the way, 707-317 next, 818 after that, and another 707-226 next. If you're on the line, hang in there. We'll get to you. Phone lines open. Pile in, folks. What do you think of Pine?
All right, Pine did essentially what I figured he can do. I'll just put it this way. His first deep ball, to Thomas, that thing was a duck. I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't throw that type of thing again. But it was great to hear about that deep pass, Styles. It was great to hear about it.
By the
but
way,
I'm not gonna go
by
into
the way,
ESPN
I
right now.
caught what you just said. Hear about it. I caught that, and that is pretty damn clever for 9:45 on a Monday morning. So thank you, sir. That's clever, and I like it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of course. No, thank you, John. But you know, it's. I'm glad that they finally were connect. You know, they finally able to connect the deep ball. You know, what game like this is so difficult to really extract like how well they improved. But I think it was 60-40, where 60% is Notre Dame is starting to figure out what they have, and 40% of just North Carolina. Wow, that thing is a train wreck. I keep trying to remind myself they're coming off of a bye week. And they have people running in on the field where Notre Dame is looking to the sidelines to change the play with 10 seconds left on the play clock. You know, I mean, they're fighting. They're literally fighting each other in the middle of the field. You know,
Well,
it's
here's what makes no sense. Here's what makes no sense to me about the entire North Carolina thing right now. It seems to me like they have a way to get and develop really exciting skill talent. They've had good quarterbacks with Howell and now this guy. They have these receivers, Downs, and these young guys. They have really good offensive skill talent. And on defense, it's just nothing. Like, how could it be that big of a gap? Because it just seems like they're running nothing out there. They don't get anything done on defense. What's Mac doing?
Right. And what's crazy is there's a lot of talent on that team. There's a lot of talent. Living in Charlotte, seeing the type of talent down here just in, you know, the Queen City, but in the South and just like from the Raleigh area down to Atlanta, you know, there's a ton of players, man. And obviously Notre Dame's starting to pick them down here, you know, from the Will Fuller to Snead type of players. So there's a lot of talent. North Carolina has it. It's just Matt Brown is not, he's way past his prime. And you know, that's one thing that if North Carolina actually gets a head coach that can harness the talent and develop it, I can see them start competing against Clemson on an annual basis. But
the offense isn't the problem. And Drake May is that kid is just going to keep getting better and better and better. He's got that big body already. I think he's like 6'4", something, 250. He's got the body, he's got the arm, he's getting the experience. That guy is just going to keep getting better and better and develop. He is exciting to watch, and I am jealous of them having a young guy with that big body, getting experience and making plays early. That quarterback path is the one we need to find a way to be going down.
Yep. It's almost like he is supposed to be what Tyler Buckner was sold to us. It's how I look at it. You know, where he can beat you with his legs, but that's not what his game is. His game is to pass first. And you gotta give him, you gotta give people credit. You know, players will make plays, and some of those passes where the Notre Dame was in position. Was it Mickey who turned his head around? I mean, I think it was Mickey, or who's the other freshman, a cornerback that got beat deep, not for the touchdown, but it was a deep throw, and he turned around. I haven't seen a Notre Dame cornerback turn his head around to look for the ball. He just jumped toward it. You know, and I'm like, wow, that's a true freshman doing that. But it was a great pass. There's some good passes that kid was throwing, and you got to give him credit for that. You know, I just kind of go back to your question. I think what's happening is, again, the coaches are starting to figure out who they have and what they're good at. And this was the first time I saw where they just took Leofau and said, okay, obviously, you're not in the position to read a defense and then trigger and shoot, trust your eyes. What we're going to do is you're just going to shadow. Wherever that quarterback goes, you go. If he's rough back, you crash the A gap or B gap, whatever. Just play loose, play free, just watch the quarterback and foul him. That's essentially what his whole game was, and that's basically what he is. He isn't read the offense, where's the guard going. He isn't that type of linebacker at the stage. He could be. But I just think they're starting to figure out what they got.
Yeah, it was just a much better offensive structure and plan and diversification of who's getting the balls, and the way all three running backs had really good carry percentages. And then Pine had his little, just enough with his legs. It was a beautiful, beautiful blend. And it looked more creative. There was more movement. There was more blockers out ahead. Like, It's like Reese finally saw what we all saw, and he's structuring for the offense. We can run, not what he wants it to be. And it was square peg, round hole the first few weeks. This was much better. I want to see how we build from it. How do you get to the next level of efficiency? What else can you do with this to provide a defense something to think about they haven't seen yet? Come up with some new wrinkles against BYU. They have a half month to look at our film, and we're limited in certain areas. So I need to see them get creative against BYU out in the desert.
I agree. Unfortunately, there's no wide receivers on this other than Styles. And so that's really going to hamper your playbook.
Yep.
And I know this probably is not a popular opinion here, but I don't think Reese has been terrible this year. I'll take out the Marshall game because we did the same crap with the Ball State thing where, okay, let's just go through our entire playbook and see all these formations and all this crap and then try to make a quarterback that's legs first, a pocket passer, as you already alluded to in the show. Take that out of the game. I think its play calling with Cal was good. There's just lack of execution for the first 5 drives. Because they couldn't even take a snap under center at that stage. This last game, my goodness, man, like his play design left Mayer, left Styles, left Diggs wide open. And just wide. Again, I understand North Carolina's terrible on defense, but man, that was the whole point. That was his place, is get the linebackers flowing one way and sneak in behind them.
But see, that's always the thing. That's always the thing. It's like, well, but their defense is really bad. And then I say, exactly. So then what do you do if the defense is really bad? A normal offense does what we did. Almost 300 yards passing, 300 yards running, diversified, get it to all your guys, take advantage of it. It was acknowledging they're really bad there. It was nice to see that we were good enough we could take advantage of it, which is honestly a question I had going into the game. So I'm glad I got the answer. This is what you do against a defense like that, and we did it, and it's just a really good sign. That offense looks like how it's going to have to be ran, and it is limiting. It's limiting because those wide receivers almost just aren't even a part of it anymore for the most part.
No.
They're not, and it's just a bad spot to be, man. But they're not really that much part of it. Tobias, where are you? Get him out there. You're telling me that guy can't catch a couple passes against North Carolina when you're winning by a couple scores? Come on. Come on. Come on.
You bring up a great point, and this is the thing that also kind of drives me crazy. It's not just Notre Dame fans, but there's a reason they're not playing. Guys, it's not like Marcus Freeman doesn't play freshmen. There's enough true freshmen running around the field. Okay, if you're good, they're going to play you. He's not the type of coach like, oh, sorry, you're a true freshman. You're going to sit on the sidelines. Obviously, if you're good, you're going to play. So there's a reason they're not playing. Okay, I don't know what those reasons are. I can give you some guesses, but if they're not playing, I trust the coaches enough to put the people who are the best at their position to do it. So if Tobias isn't playing, that's on him, man. You got to figure it out.
Yeah. So now wait. Let me give you the flip side of this. Man, I have spent a lot of time thinking about the exact thing you just said. Let me flip this on you in your mind. Okay.
Yep.
Fans get frustrated when you have like a position group that is not producing and the starters are not playing winning football, doing the right thing or focus or making the physical plays. Then the fans say, we just want to see somebody else. And then the coaches say, well, you need to have that consistency in practice and be reliable. And you can't just catch passes. You have to be able to block, to see the field here as wide receiver, all of that. So then the coaches will tell you, well, the guys playing are the guys that display all that. But if you're not getting winning football from them and they're better than the second string guy, then you're all messed up. Are you not? Because even the guy that you were running out there first isn't good enough. And then you're telling me the other guy's worse than him. Now you're all mixed up on your recruiting and your development. I'm so mad at this wide receiver situation, man. Just get it right. Get a normal wide receiver room. This is Notre Dame. Get some wide receivers to run down there and catch passes in the shadow of touchdown Jesus. It ain't that hard.
where we can actually have 50-50 balls. But and that should tell you what you're telling. I agree with what your assessment is. Where these wide receivers are terrible outside the styles. So what does that tell you? I mean, if the people that are not playing right now, Colsey, Merriweather, there's a reason. I don't know what that is, but obviously, if they were good enough, they would be playing. So and you're hitting on the head, it's got to be development or just not really getting, be it, I'm looking for it. Basically, looking at tape, looking at film, comparing the competition that these kids are actually playing, because there's a big difference between playing, like Indiana single A football compared to say Texas 6A. The competition wise, and you have the schools that they don't care who they play. They travel across the U.S. and play. What I mean? Yeah. There's a major difference. So they could be lighting up the scoreboard, but your analysis has got to be right. And I'm sorry, wide receiver and let's be honest, quarterback for Notre Dame has been a struggle to translate that high school film onto the college.
Yes,
field.
and the development in those, not only just development and retention are in both of those rooms has been an issue. And I want to be crystal clear about this. All of this discussion, and we're glad we beat up on North Carolina's bad D, all that. The big picture here is Notre Dame's not accomplishing anything any of us want in the Freeman era until that quarterback room gets situated and wide receiver. Like, that is modern college football, winning parts of your team. We don't have. Neither one of those groups are where they need to be. It just needs to be an understated thing we all acknowledge. We're not winning getting any of our goals done without those two pieces coming together in the next couple of years. It's the number 100%. One priority.
Yes, 100%. I'm glad to see the cornerback room is starting to look like we got some players that are freshmen, that they know what they're doing. Like I said, I think it was Mickey got his head turned around on a deep ball, man. When was the last time you've seen a Notre Dame cornerback do that on a deep ball? Usually they're just flailing, praying that the ball flies out of bounds. No, he turns his head to jump too damn soon. But no, quarterback, wide receiver, you got to figure that out, because if not, then you're just looking at 10-2, 9-3 seasons, where you just will be more talented than the team that you're playing against. You're going to win those games, but you're not beating Ohio State.
Yeah.
You're not beating those Clemsons. You're not beating those teams. Okay. So let me ask you this. What do you feel from this point on is a salvageable season for Freeman? What like record wise, what does that look like in your eyes?
If you're sitting, that's a really good question. If you're sitting here right now and I'm looking at this, you could look at 8-4, 7-5 is realistic. If it's better than 8-4, I'll be impressed. But I still don't see Notre Dame scoring on Clemson's defense a lot. Do you? Right. 8-4 would be in the ballpark. And if it was 9-3, I think it's an amazing salvage. And if it goes one more game the other way, you're down at you. And the other thing is, I'm not even ready to talk about USC yet. I'm being honest. That is Thanksgiving weekend. That is its own dynamic where I think it's ultra critical. You don't let that rivalry flip on you year one of their new guy and then let it all flip. That's its own discussion. But those are the only two games by talent Notre Dame should be in a position to lose. But I also don't know if I could trust Notre Dame's decent play to continue to protect me against losing to Syracuse or BYU. So it's all kind of in the mix right now. If you salvaged 8-4 out of this start, it would be a great year. Like, not a great year, but a great salvage job after the start is what I mean.
Yeah.
What do you think? Where are you at? How do you see it?
As you've already stated earlier, I like the fact that their defense, it looks like it's stabilizing. Yeah, there's broken down plays, and you got to understand, you're still, I'm not trying to make excuses, but you're dealing with kids that, it's 45-26, it's fourth and a mile. That all Hart's thinking about is picking that ball off and running it back like, what was it, Kaiser or Bertrand during Wisconsin game. You know what I mean? Just that shot with you're sticking out the ball, going across the goal line. That's all the thing that's running through his head. It's not excusable, but he's just, for a defense that can't get turnovers, that's what he's thinking. That's stupid, but that is what it is. But it's getting better. Now, having watched BYU play enough, I think Notre Dame could run the ball against them.
Yep.
I think Notre Dame could run the ball against them, and that if Notre Dame can run the ball, I mean, you see what happens. I mean, they will just maul you, and that's why I look at that schedule, and it's like I mean, should be able to run the ball.
And the thing is, man, if you can run the ball with authority, then you bring winning games into the picture that might not look like they are this year. Like if you can run the ball decent against Clemson, that's how you drag that game out and you have a chance to win it. If you power run the game again, if you power run it on USC, you can eat up the clock, keep their offense off. You do what you do, beat them up, grind them down, eat up the clock. Like a lot of what Notre Dame does the rest of the year is dependent upon how much of this good running game are we going to see continue. Got to have it. It has to be the core of everything offensively to help Pine out.
That's the thing. And so I look at the schedule. Is if the defense can actually start generating turnovers, okay, if the offensive line can stabilize or continue to stabilize, I think 8-4 is that should be. I don't want to say easily hit, but that should be a bench that I would be disappointed if those two things happen and they weren't 8-4.
Yeah, if you get to 8-4 after the first 2 weeks nightmare we had and going through losing the starting quarterback in the middle of it,
right?
No one's ever going to say 8-4 is good enough at Notre Dame ever, no matter who the coach is, what the circumstances. I don't care if half the players on the team have broken legs, all of them. 8-4 is never okay, given the dynamic, how this nightmare started. If you rode that out to 8-4, that's a salvageable deal. It might be about as good as you can do. So I don't know, my friend, but I appreciate the call, and we need to reconnect on some of this as the bye week goes on, and then we get into BYU. It is a big turning point.
Absolutely.
Big turning point.
Well, I'll leave you with this thought here as a theme from Major League, the movie. I think we're starting to come together, Pepper. I think we're starting to come together. So we'll see what that looks like. Got a bye week. I think, again, you look at that schedule up to Clemson, those teams, they should be able to run the ball again.
You know what we'll do
for
the Major League? We'll put up a poster board of Swarbrick like they did the lady owner, and every time you win, we'll take off his tie and then his jacket, and it's Swarbrick in there. Yeah, that's a pretty picture. That's the image everybody wants in Notre Dame land on a Monday morning, right?
Yeah, it should be the opposite. We actually put clothes on him. He starts off naked.
Yeah, there you go. Some Notre Dame boxers, and then we cover him up. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Beautiful.
Well, John,
hey, good call.
Man.
Thank
Appreciate
you. Really good call. Thanks a lot, man. Call again anytime.
Of course. Take care.
Oh, beautiful. 707, you're up next. You've been waiting a long time. 707-317, you're up next. Feel bad. You've been on a long time. I saw a lot of people are mentioning, I don't want to miss this. I want to get back to the calls, but I don't want to miss this. Somebody's mentioning what's going on with quarterback and the 23 with the weirdness of thinking it was Dante. Now it's nobody, wanting Carter reclassify. We don't know what's going to happen. Regarding all that, people are saying, go get a transfer. I get that. Here's a couple things we all need to think about. One is understand that the transfer for undergraduates is harder at Notre Dame than a lot of places for all the typical reasons. Grades, the classes don't always transfer, blah, 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 blah. We all know that. But here's the more interesting part of that. Say you went and got Armstrong or the backup Irish kid that isn't starting at Michigan. What is it? McNamara, whatever. Say you wanted to do that. What are you going to cause then with your quarterback room that you have? That's the only thing. I get why they might feel like this next year's a year you need a transfer because Buckner got injured. You lost an entire year of development. You're not quite sure if Pine's like a frontline starter. You might feel like you need a guy, but then do you get another guy mad and you lose a guy to a transfer, or how are you going to work that out? You're also bringing in a guy. How many more years does he have? And then you have Carr coming in. It's complicated. It's just a little complicated. My word. I'm assuming James is trolling us. Can we compete with Navy? I mean, hopefully. Can we? I mean, I like it if you're trolling me, but I would like to think we could compete with Navy, and they're not what they used to be these days either. 707, you're in heaven. Sorry I made you wait so long. You're on the air.
Hey, John, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thanks for joining me. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for what you do, man. I really appreciate the show.
Oh, no problem, man. There's nothing I'd rather do. Wake up in the morning and do this.
Hey, I had one of those rare weekends where my three favorite teams won, man. Got the Irish handling business, looking good. And then my Bears beat the Texans, and then the Colts beat Kansas City. So I'm having a good Monday right now.
There you go, man. What do you make of where Notre Dame's at? Was it progress or is it fool's gold because North Carolina's defense is bad? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I think any win is a progress, to be honest, whether it's close or whether it's a blowout. I think a win is progress, right? Because the goal is to win. But without failure, you can't taste success. You won't know what that means, you know. And with Coach Freeman's first three games, you know, him going 0-3, you know what I'm saying? It's a tough situation. But you have to, you know, you gotta look at the situation, step back a bit, and re-examine things and put things in perspective and go out there and do it. And so he got the first win last week against Cal, although it was kind of ugly, you know. Got that first win off, you know, got the monkey off the back, and then came in. Now, after we lost to Marshall, we dropped all the way to number 61, 62 in the country now, right? And North Carolina, they were number 35. They moved up to number 26, outside of the top 25. We went in there, you know, we went into, you know, North Carolina's house, and we basically spanked them. You know, I mean, the score isn't indicative of the way the game went. Now, the first couple of drives sucked, but, you know, settling into the game and, you know, that, it took a little bit, you know. It took a quarter to do that. I wish that we would, you know, come out much faster and things of that nature. But sometimes you got to slow up to speed up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, that makes sense. So what do you think of the new look offense? You think this is the path the rest of the year, the way they're handling this and get all those backs involved? Yeah.
Freaking love it, man. Freaking love it. And with all the folks saying, you know, what about Angeli and what about a transfer QB? No. We're in a this is a transitional year, man, and we have to really put things in perspective and be realistic. I mean, you have a first year coach, his first head coaching job is, I mean, oh my goodness, I do not envy. Well, I envy Coach Freeman's paycheck.
Yeah, not the stress that comes with it every minute. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine? It's a lot.
Man, my goodness. You have this young black, you know, coach that's never coached before and trying to figure it all out and all this and all that pressure and all the interviews and all the stuff on the back end that he has to do.
Yeah.
He has 6 children. He has a family. And I mean, that's all, you know, and he's still trying to do the math and put it all together, you know, just for his own sanity, for Pete's sake, you know. And you got to be naive. Well, we have to be naive to think that he could come in and you know, be this, go 12-0, go 11-1. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I didn't have, of course, you know, the expectations. They're going to be, you know, they're going to be there. You know, as far as winning, you know, you expect to win. especially against a Marshall, for Pete's sake. And a Cal, and but it's just not that simple. You know what I'm saying? Everyone is D1, and I don't want to. And I hate that saying, "Winning is hard."
I was gonna say you
really
sound like
that.
my pal down in the swamplands right now. Brian Kelly's favorite term: "Winning is hard," especially at Notre Dame. Maybe he was right. Maybe he was right.
I freaking hate that term, dude. You know what I'm saying? Because.
But you just said it. Wait, you're the one who just said it. You were like, you got to realize, man, it's just kind of hard.
Well, Brian Kelly, he had no business saying that because he'd been in business 30 plus years.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been that hard for him at that point. Yeah, I get. Exactly. Yeah.
If Marcus Freeman is saying this 2 seasons from now, saying winning is hard when we barely beat a Marshall or some shit. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
A Marshall.
You're all right.
Then we're having problems. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you don't hear Nick Saban saying beating, the sisters of whatever is hard. No, you know what I'm saying? You got the horses, and you got the coaches. You get out there and you smack who you're supposed to smack. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is. But with Marcus Freeman, I'm willing to give him a pass right now with that because he's still trying to find his way and figure out everything. That's why I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? But,
yeah. And I think that's fair.
I really like the way and I will give Tommy Rees, although I was that dude that, lost $1,000. He still owed me money. But I'll give him a B+ because I appreciate the change he made. Where
it was very obvious. Very obvious. He did change. He changed course.
Marcus Freeman called him in. Yeah, I think Marcus Freeman called him into his office and was like, "Look, dude, this is what's going on. I told y'all this during the off season, during fall, spring practice, fall, all this. This is what our identity will be. Don't go in there with all this cute stuff, especially when you got a brand new quarterback, Tyler Buckner, that, he's still trying to, come up to speed. We lose him. Why in the world would you put our second, third string up in there with all this, with all this calculus? No, you stay simple. Sometimes simple is better. Run that ball, man. Run the ball.
Yep. And simple,
and that's what they did.
Not only is
I appreciate what they did.
Simple's better in a lot of ways, but especially when you're struggling and you have a young quarterback and no depth at wide receiver. Like, what you need to lean on that even more when those are your circumstances, for sure. So moving this forward through the bye, what's your early thoughts on the BYU game? We'll get into it all next week, but while I have you, what are your early thoughts on BYU?
Do it again.
Yep. Build off what we did and keep it going.
I'm going to tell you this. So I watched Coach Mack's post game, and he said,
"What did he say? I didn't catch that. What did he say? I didn't catch it."
Look, this guy is straight. He's a first class. He's a first class dude. He's been there. He's won a championship before. He gave us a lot of compliments, man. As he said, this team, he called us a top 10 team. He said, we're 3-0, but, the teams we played he said this will be the best team we play all year. And they came in there and they said, we're going to run the ball, and we couldn't stop the run. There's nothing we could do about that. He gave us a lot of compliments. I suggest you watch his interview. You know what I'm saying? And look, our identity should be running the football. I don't care who we play. Clemson, USC. You know what? Forget that. I'm just going to say BYU next week, Syracuse, or whoever we got after that. run the ball, run it. Keep Pine in there doing what he's doing, because you don't switch him out because of one or two bad plays. You understand what I'm saying? In order for, and if you switch out the quarterback, that switches up the entire offense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is tough though.
keep
It
it
is tough
simple.
though, because you got to balance building your young quarterback confidence with you can't lose any more games. That's a tough balance. But on the good end, Pine's trending up, and I think we're going to be in a better spot coming out of the bye. But I've been nervous about
I
this.
think so.
You know. So yeah, I think you're right though. Power run that ball against BYU, tighten up that defense a little bit, and find yourself a little winning streak.
Right.
And then you rip off Stanford,
Exactly.
UNLV, and then you get ready for Syracuse. Hey, they're looking better than people thought. I think they're undefeated right now. Are they not?
Even better. That's even better for us. Each team needs to win until they play us. Seriously.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like if you were to listen to, I listened to North Carolina's, their podcast leading up to the game, and they're all like, oh, we're going to whoop, this is the year we're going to finally beat Notre Dame. And the predictions,
Not
right?
so fast, my friend.
Yeah.
The ultimate, not so fast, my friend.
Right. And after the game, they're all dejected. I'm talking about they're ashen in the face. It's so funny to watch, right? You know what I'm saying? But we need all the teams we play to continue to win until they play us, because that is what. And we need to win. We need to beat them. You know what I'm saying? To salvage the season. Going in 0-2, we got to go on a run here now.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
This is your chance.
So,
and it times up well because you got a couple wins. Now you got to build off the momentum, build off what works, show up to BYU, play better than you played against North Carolina, put together a full game with no leaks on the front end or the back end. And then before you know it, it's looking more like the team we thought this was going to be. Recruiting doesn't all fall apart.
Yep.
Boom. There's John's plan for the future. We got it rolling, right?
Man, John, I'm so proud of this team. We had one or two flags. We had one flag on offense.
It was pretty tidy.
It was like, man, the discipline. It's like they went in after that loss, and we had that win against Cal. The coaches started focusing on discipline and communication and things of that nature. And I will give it up to Harry Easton and this offensive line. It's like they pulled up their britches. They were pissed off, and they were pushing. And our running backs were handling business. They were giving our backup quarterback, time to throw. And Drew Pine, I will tell you, I am really, really proud of him. I'm, keep it going, man, and just progress off of what you've done. Never rest on your laurels. You always can get better. You know what I'm saying? Look at the deficiencies. Look what happened. Look what didn't work. Look what did work. Work on it. Refine it. Make it better. Now, the secondary kind of took a step back, and I don't know if that has to do with Cam's. He's still not 100%, maybe. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah.
But there was some communication, but we gave up 14 points, man, on some miscommunication.
And the good news is, I think that can get tidied up over a bye week, that kind of thing. That's a different problem than wide receiver. And I feel confident those kind of things can be kind of tidied up.
Yeah.
But we're trending in the right direction, man. We'll see if we can keep it rolling.
Yeah. Let's keep it rolling, man. And, I'm not going to get too high on the team, but we got to take it play by play.
Yep.
And game by game.
There you go.
That's how you win.
Beautiful. Give me a call when we get further down the road, closer to BYU.
John, by the way.
Yeah.
You were at the Cal game, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't find you. I was looking for you, man. I couldn't find you, but yeah, I'll be back up there for the. I won't be up there for Clemson, but I forget what other game I'll be up there. But I'll look for you.
Yeah, I'll be
where you're at.
Stanford and Clemson will be my other two. I got your number here. I'll shoot you a text. So from now on, you could just text me when you know you're going to be in town.
Awesome. It'll be good.
Yep.
To connect.
Beautiful.
Okay,
I'll message.
Well,
I'll
appreciate
message
the
you.
show.
Yeah, I'll message you after the show. You'll know it's me. Save my number.
Sounds good, man.
Beautiful.
Keep it up, John.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for the call. Have a good week. Christopher Morgan, I really appreciate the $20. 707, you're up next again, and then 818. I know that's going to be great. You're up after him. Happy Monday. Off topic. Will you be at the Clemson game? Would love to meet up. Bought 2 tickets this morning. Super excited. Take my friend to her first ND home game. Of course, I'm going to be at the Clemson game. Here's the deal, Christopher. Clemson game, we have it is not my setup, but I have been invited to join a huge, beautifully done, full-scale tailgate right in the stadium lot, like right behind Notre Dame Stadium. They have all the parking on the edge, so it's easy to get in and out. Full bar setup, pizzas being delivered on the hour, every hour throughout the day. Full bar, all the food and drinks you could want right at the entrance exit, like before. It's beautiful. Easy in, easy out. Full bar, fun people. I'm going to be flying the flag. You'll see the Always Irish flag up. That's where we're going to be. So you can't miss it. And I'll tweet out exactly what flagpole it is, what number and all that. That's where we're going to be all day. We're going to party. Okay. So that's the deal. You can't miss that flag I'm going to be flying either. Kent, hey man, Kent, I ain't speaking facts. BYU's physical and tough. Yeah, it's going to be a good challenge. It really is. Back to the phone lines, another 707. It's hopping out there. I think that's out west. You guys are up early today. What's up?
Hey, John. I first and foremost want to offer you my congratulations for your USA Today gig. I think that's really, it must be somebody in a decision-making position over there to see, and a Notre Dame fan to see that, you know, you really have, of all those guys that are on podcasts and this and that, they talk to you about writing for them. So they know that you know Notre Dame football and care about it. And I think they made the right decision in offering you that gig.
Thank you very much. And you know what I'm genuinely excited about is there are a lot of people, and I can't say it's unwarranted. There are a lot of people that I think I'm just the yelly guy on YouTube. The opportunity to be able to diversify my content and put it in print and make people think about it differently, I am very much looking forward to that. Writing's a totally different beast, and I'm looking forward to it, and it's been fun so far. But I really appreciate you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and not only that, but I think maybe you should put up a link to your articles or to the newspaper so that people can give you some visits and traffic to show them that.
Really good idea.
We like that.
And I did that like yesterday when I did my post-game review video. In the description and the comments, I put a link to where I typed up a article for them. So you're thinking of it the same way I am. I'm very, very excited. And I appreciate the faith they had in me and said, you know, you're doing something different and there's something here and we want to kind of wrap you up before you go somewhere else. Means a lot to me.
Well, I think it's deserved because you understand exactly what's happening here at Notre Dame. You know, like you just get it. And so you're able to talk about it and they see that and they see how, you know, the people are, you know, people that are your fans are really like me. You know, it's like we really love being able to tune into intelligent Notre Dame conversation, despite your guys like Jaded Idiot and Kent. But I'll get past that. I'm so long, by the way.
Oh, that's
But
good.
anyway, I wanted to give some game balls out because it was a tremendous effort all around by Notre Dame. I would give them an A- grade. And the first game ball I would give is to the offensive line. They really, really played well.
Yeah, they definitely did. And we've been waiting for it. This looks more like what we needed to get through the year and what we expected. And I'm glad to see it's coming into form. We needed it.
Yeah, and the thing is, last year when we were young, we had the same kind of thing. It took about 4 weeks to get our offensive line into gear. And this year it's the same thing. Except for every single one of those guys is back from last year. So it's a bummer that we had to start 0-2, because you start 0-1 and your chances are not good for a playoff. But you start 0-2 and you're done. So, and especially to Marshall. But they found themselves this week and they looked tremendous. I want to give them the first game ball, because I think they really worked hard and all game.
Not only that, but what I love most about that is, that obviously is what makes it all possible. But the distribution balance between Estime, Tyree, Diggs, and then Pine only a little bit. I love that distribution. That is getting max out of what you have, which is limited because of wide receiver play. This is how you get the most out of what you do have that's good. And I felt like they really prioritized that this week. And it really just gave me comfort that they're seeing what we're seeing. And I loved that.
Yeah, and then you're going to add in Jadarian Price next year. So that's a good stable of backs. And Payne, that kid Payne is supposed to be very good. So this is all very encouraging for next year. But my next game ball is a tie. I give it to Pine and Mayer, because I think Pine showed me that given time in there, and he stayed in there, he hung in there. He didn't just look to bail like Ian Book used to always do. He stayed in there. He took some shots, but that offensive line protected him. And when he gets time to throw, he actually looked pretty good. So he's one of my game balls. And of course, Mayer was a beast.
Yep.
That was probably his best game of his career at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he was sticking in there tough. And there was some tight windows, some physical plays. And that's where you see the difference between a really good tight end and an NFL tight end. Like the way he moves his body to get open in certain ways. Like there's little things there. And the other thing, man, with all this, obviously the offensive line play looked much better. But good for Drew Pine. He is doing all I could ask somebody in Drew Pine's physical body and circumstances to do. It's looking better and he's improving, and the offense is built to kind of help him along more. He's doing as much as I could ask him to do, and I'm proud of him and I'm happy for him going into the bye.
Yeah, his learning curve, given time like he had this past week, he looked very good. I'm going to, I can't say anything negative against him. He missed the one pass to Mayer when he was wide open and probably would have been 40 yards at least, maybe a touchdown. But, he just threw it into the ground. But, hey, it's part of being human when you're playing.
Well, now here's the other thing, though. And I'm knocking on wood on my desk here because I don't want to bring this up and jinx us. But one of the concerns about Pine was that in his limited play we saw prior to this year, he got a little loose with the ball, kind of wheeling and dealing, put it in trouble, put it in traffic too much. We haven't seen much of that. He's been really protective of the football, and that is ultra important when you have a limited offense that has to maximize whatever chance it gets. So he's protecting the ball, not putting it in harm's way, and he's doing a good job. So credit to Drew Pine, tough Notre Dame guy. Everybody wants to see succeed. I'm just so happy for him. Tough kid, tough kid.
I am too, and he showed a patience of a veteran, and this is really his, first season. But he showed a lot of poise and a lot of patience staying in the pocket when people are collapsing around him. But again, the offensive line gave him time to look good, and he took advantage of that.
Yeah. And I think what I really like about this now is now you have a little momentum, the most anybody could have after starting 0-2. You're feeling good. Now you have a couple weeks to build. It can't stay the same. I need you to build off what did work and keep it growing. Notre Dame has a good opportunity here. If you find a way to get by BYU, you have a couple really winnable games after that. And then that's called actual momentum. So there's a very big opportunity here waiting for the boys in the desert.
Right. But what you said also earlier about that Syracuse game, I think that's in Syracuse.
It is.
New York. And
I
think that's going to be very difficult,
Yeah.
They're good.
Syracuse is always a team that, for whatever reason, I and everybody else wants to just write off as being just Syracuse. Like, I don't know why, that's just ingrained. But they're undefeated right now, and we are going to their place. And I believe their place is that weird dome, right? Like, I'm not sure what to expect there, but if they're undefeated, it's going to be loud. So yeah, we gotta look at that. This BYU game's a big fulcrum turning point now.
Right. And my third game ball, well, I guess fourth, because I gave it to Mayer and Pine, but the wide receivers. Jaden Thomas was catching balls, and Lorenzo Styles looked like what we wanted to see as a freshman, come to fruition. And again, because he had time to throw it, these guys are figuring out how to get distance and space. And, Tommy Reeves made some nice calls.
He did. Yep. So, hey, listen, man. Listen, I am the first one blaming Reese when I think things are not being run right. I also got to be the first guy to admit this game plan was a 100% improvement over anything we've seen, and it worked, and it's the way Notre Dame's going to have to do it. So I give him credit. I'm mad that it's a little late, but I'm glad we got there. That offense Saturday was what it needs to be to win this year.
Well, to me, it just shows that, the offensive line, if they can come through for him, he's not that bad of an offensive coordinator. All of a sudden, his plays look good,
And you know what else, too, man? You brought up Styles. Think about how rough life has to be for Styles when he knows he's getting all the attention because they all know nobody else is going to get open. Like, life's hard on Styles right now because all the attention's on him as the one alpha or near number one guy in that room. Life's hard on him. I can't wait till Notre Dame gets this wave of these wide receiver recruits in there, and we can start getting that room to look more like what a normal functioning real teams looks like. Things are really going to open up for us, I hope.
Yeah, and the thing is, they'll be that much further along if they go with Merriweather. Let's see what he can do, because Lindsey is just throw in the towel with him. It just give these other guys their chance.
Lindsey's career. Lindsey's career's been so frustrating. Like, there's speed, and you just know that speed is there, and you always just feel like you should be getting more production than you ever have gotten. And I know injuries aren't his fault, but for whatever reason, we just wanted so much more out of that natural speed than we ever got.
Yeah, and we're seeing that it's not happening. So move on.
Yeah, it's rough. So I don't know, man, but this has me feeling a little better coming into the bye, and I really think you have an opportunity to kind of tighten things up here and finish the year on an upswing. It's just it's tough, man. A lot of challenges this September. It's been a lot for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long process at this point. You're 2-2. You can't sit there and think we're great now because we had good offensive line play. I can't stress it enough. But once that line, if they break down again, all of a sudden we're a very average to terrible team again. So, I mean, here's what it is. You got to produce on the offensive line, and that's where your success will lie, because you love to see Estime, you love to see Tyree. And Diggs, he looked a little rusty his first 2 carries, but then all of a sudden he got into the flow of the game, and he was ripping it up. He was making great cuts and avoiding people, and I was afraid of him having a problem, and maybe a transfer out, because he just wasn't cutting it compared to what Estime and Tyree were doing.
Yep.
But he showed me a lot. He came back in and settled in and was a very productive player every time he saw the field after those first 2 carries.
Yep. And so I don't know, man. Rough start, but I do feel like we're trending in the right direction. And that momentum trend feel in college football is a big, big deal. And if you follow Notre Dame long enough, man, you could just feel the vibes and know what they are. And it was really iffy the first few weeks, but now I'm hopeful we're trending up, and I just hope that kind of continues. And it'll be nice to have a bye week where I can relax, not lose all my hair on a Saturday and watch everybody else worry about their team. So, but I thanks for the call, man. Have a good week, and thanks for the kind words. Call again whenever you want.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say one last thing I would give an honorable mention to is Maris Leofau. He seemed to play within himself. He wasn't, doing a whole lot of jumping and cheering and then missing plays. He played within himself, and he played hard, and he uses his hands better than any of the other linebackers, which is strong. You need to have that. So I'm glad to see him finally. He's another guy that, just is learning the college game because he just hasn't had enough time on the field. He got the injuries. So, him and Pine, like these wide receivers, these are all critical positions, but they all showed a lot of growth and development in this last game. So we'll hope they can keep it up.
Beautiful. Well, good thoughts, my friend. Very well spoken as always. Call again. Enjoy the bye week.
All right, John.
Stress-free, my friend, bye weeks. I like those. It lets my blood pressure get back to like the healthy range before the next game. Tom A says you get more viewers when you're having a stroke. Obviously, that's true, but there's a limit to how many strokes I can have before a real one kicks in. Like, I can't just jumpstart it. I can't go, man, I don't see enough people watching and commenting. I better jumpstart one of those strokes to pull them in. Oh, that's funny. Kent, I don't know what you're doing. I invited you to the game, said you were going to be my Ohio State guest next year in South Bend. The next thing I say is I'm going to fly a flag, come party with me, and then Kent saying he's going to burn the flag. Which is it, Kent? I can't invite you to my party and then you burn the place down. You're going to have to play nice. You're going to have to play nice, Kent. And if you bring any of your Ohio State cronies or whatever, they need to be nice too, or you're out. You're out. I know you. I don't know any of your road dogs from Ohio. If I got any grown men showing up in silver face paint with a bunch of nuts on their necklace, you're all out of my tailgate, Kent. So you're invited, but with this comes responsibility. Keep your people in line. 818. Didn't this game feel great? You're on the air.
Well, first of all, John, you got to give me one of those dog howls again. Let's hear it. Come on.
You like that? Give me that Prince Collie. Ow! Let's ride, baby. Let's ride, baby. Give me that. I mean, I know that doesn't sound like a collie, but it's close enough. You know the point I'm going for.
Oh, man, we got to go to karaoke together and sing some Werewolves of London, man, sometime soon here.
Oh, that's perfect. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
By the way, I got a rebuttal to Kent's thing there, man. I got to say, I got to give it to you. If you're going to invite Kent to Notre Dame Stadium, Don, you got to kind of get him back. I understand you don't want to go to the Horseshoe or the Big House, but what about going to the Horseshoe when they play Michigan with a Never Skunk Bear sign on your chest, man? I'm telling you, that's where you meet Kent. When they're playing,
you know what? No. You're on it, because I will never ever step foot in the big house ever. If you paid me money, I would not go to the Big House ever. I would go there and support Ohio State to beat Michigan. I would do that.
I'm telling you, man. I've been thinking about it too. I've never been to another college game with other teams. I'm like, I think that'd be a lot of fun when your stress isn't necessarily on the line for the game itself, but you still,
That's very freeing. That's very freeing in a way that I'm unaware of.
I am not exactly aware of that myself.
So do you feel better about things? Where are you at now? Are we overdoing that? But am I overdoing it, man? Am I like getting too worked up and it's just North Carolina's bad? Or do you feel like real documentable progress was made here?
John, I felt better than you did on your reaction show. I was like, I really did. I watched that entire game. We were slow at work, so I just literally watched the whole game, and there was no one even there. So I was kind of cool. But I'll tell you, I think we figured out. First of all, I think we figured out an identity on offense, and I think what it is. Obviously, you can't do this all the time, but I think the 2 tight end, 2 running back formations were doing us a lot of good. Yeah, that gives you 1 wide receiver. Yep. Why deal with any more at this point?
Yeah,
you get 2 tight ends in there, 2 running backs. Where you can throw them out for swing passes or whatever.
But doesn't
the defense fit?
Doesn't that make perfect sense though? Like with where we're at, we have more tight end and running back talent than we do.
Let's have that party.
But like where we're at, it makes perfect sense to utilize those running backs that can all contribute. You have more than 1 tight end. I know they're a little banged up in that room now too. There's some injury concerns beyond Mayer, but I like that. Pull a receiver off and put a multiple tight end or running back set in there because those are the guys giving you the production now. I'm all for it, and I don't love it. It shouldn't be how it is, but it's where we're at, and you got to win games. Do it, build off it, embrace it.
Well, look, this team is going to go as the offensive line goes. And if you think about it, when Patterson came back, it took the second. Well, he was back for the Marshall game, but it really started to happen in the second half of the Cal game. Is when you started seeing that momentum start to get built. Last six quarters of Notre Dame football have been really good offensively. And I'm not worried about the defense at all. I thought they only held them to 58 rushing yards. I mean, that's a team that averages, 50 points a game? They held, and they had no business scoring 32. John, that game should have been something like 59-20. That's what the game should, 59, 26, 27 maybe. I mean, we dominated that game. And I'm like, I really do believe coming out of the bye, I got really good feelings about this team going forward. I don't know that they're going to, I said something last week. I think I said if we can win the next 2, I could see a scenario where we could possibly win out. Still think that's possible because I think now I'm looking at Clemson, USC, and BYU and Syracuse. Got those Syracuse in there.
Yeah.
As very competitive games, but games that, listen, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking 2-9, 3-8. Now everybody's saying the floor is maybe 7-5.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Better.
It's amazing, isn't it? How one fairly competent offensive performance is all it takes. And we're all flipped. We went from 3-9 to 9-3 in 1 week because we beat up on North Carolina, who gave up 60 points to App State. I don't care though. Confidence is confidence, and we needed some, and now we have a little. Confidence matters in college football so much. I needed it.
Yeah, but John, here's the thing, too. Part of the reason why you see teams score 50, 60 points is the other team scored 50, 60 points, which means they're giving the ball right back to you again. So a lot of that is just possession.
That's a good point.
The reason why Notre Dame never scores.
That's a good point.
Yeah, Notre Dame will never be a team like that because they want to play complementary football.
Right, and they're never going to have that.
I love to watch.
They're never going to have that quick strike USC 2-play touchdown down the field in 30 seconds. Yeah, I get it. You're right.
But I also thought when Estime went in there for that final score, I'm like, what are we going to do to make sure we don't get 50 points today? Because it's coming. Oh, there it is. The fumble. I get it. Okay. And I called the next pass. I was like, we just fumbled the ball on the goal line. He's going to throw bombs. We're going to get a touchdown, and we're all going to be mad that the game isn't as lopsided as it should have been. I'm telling you, man. It was for a 45-32 game. That was only cosmetic. We dominated that game. I'm telling you, I have really, really good hopes now for the rest of the year. I'm not saying, I'm still saying 8-4. I'm going to say 8-4. I could see 7-5. That wouldn't surprise me. But this year to me is much more about what the coaching staff is building. Man, I'm telling you, I was praising Tommy Rees last week for, I thought, calling an excellent game. He called an even better game this week. Man, I mean, Reese, I thought Al Golden called it underrated defensive game because cosmetic of what the score looked like. I watched another show. They said there was about 4 plays that accounted for 250 yards, and all 4 plays were breakdowns by the defense.
Yeah,
or bad plays.
And I am very confident that can be shored up over a bye week, to go over that communication where those breakdowns were. I feel a lot better about that than I'm used to. But I think of all of our problems, that's an easy thing to tighten up. The communication breakdowns and those big plays. I hated the 14-point swing at the end where we were going into score, fumble, and then to let them go down. But I can't complain about that. I need to look at the big picture, and the big picture was big progress.
Well, here's the other thing too, John. I still think it's better sometimes to win like that, where again, it was clearly dominant, but there's clearly things to fix, rather than a team that still their confidence isn't through the roof right now. They got to be feeling way better about themselves, but that Marshall game is still very much in the rearview mirror at this point. I mean, very much, in their memory. And I don't know, do you want to win a game 59-17 and be feeling too good about yourself going into the bye week? This is perfect. You clearly control the game, but you clearly have things to work on. I'm telling you, I got a really, really good feeling about them coming out of the bye week.
Yep. And I always have a pulse on the arrow of Notre Dame football. And I just feel like I have a really good gauge of it, of where we're sitting overall, the entire vibe, all of it in the season, the talent we have, how recruiting's going, feelings towards the staff, all of it. And that arrow has been shaky the last few weeks. And now it's just starting to point up a little bit. And what you need to do is embrace that momentum and use it as a starting point to grow. Get a lot better these next 2 weeks. You could get a lot better in a half a month, man. You could get a lot better in a half a month. I need to see it.
Well, look what happened in 1 week. I mean, so yeah, I agree with you. I'm really feeling good about it. Like I said, I could still see them lose a couple games, 2, even maybe 3 games this year. But I don't think what I'm feeling really good about is where the trajectory of this coaching staff is going. Forget this year, even if we're 7-5.
Yeah.
The trajectory of where it's going, I was really happy for Marcus Freeman, really happy for Tommy Reed, really happy for Coach Easton.
And
I'm really happy for Al Golden.
And you know what else too, man?
For the nucleus.
For Marcus, here's how I'm looking at it. This was a really, really rough start to the year, both in schedule because you play Ohio State right away, and then with the injury and the nightmare against really, really tough. He is learning a lot of these tough, pay your dues, first head coach job lessons. He's learning them hard right away. They're kicking him right in the shorts right away. He's learning to navigate through it, find his way through it. I have to think down the road in the future, all these early struggles are going to pay off, and we're all going to end up in a better place, and he'll be a better, competent coach because of it. You got to use these struggles to make you better later. That's all you could do.
Well, John, remember I even told you that a few weeks ago. I said, be blessed that these things are happening now, like right away.
Well, I'd prefer for them to never happen at all, but I don't know if that's on the menu.
Sure.
But I don't know if that's on the menu or would have been fair to expect to be on the menu. So I guess your point's perfectly fair then.
I'm telling you, man, I love the way his coaching staff responded. That gives me a lot of hope for the future. And it was the first game really where I thought, the coaching staff really put together a game plan from beginning to end that looked like the Notre Dame teams of the last, 10 years under Brian Kelly. Hey, No one expected him to be better than Brian Kelly right away, per se. We just didn't want to see it fall backwards.
Right.
We did a little bit, but now they're looking a lot more like those teams in the last few years. And now let's just keep building it, man. Let's just keep building it. I'm also feeling a lot better about recruiting at this point, too, because recruits got to be seeing that, and they're like, okay, this isn't a dumpster fire. We really can go there, and things really are going to continue to get
Hey,
good.
it's important, man. What you do on Saturday is your best recruiting tool, no matter what, other than probably millions of dollars. And I'm sad that I even have to mention that. But other than that, on-field matters, and you're gaining some of that momentum back and showing an offense that might look appealing to guys in a way. So I'm excited going into the bye week, man. Let's see how it goes. And I really like the idea. I'm going to have a Saturday here to just relax and watch everybody else stress out for once.
I could not agree more. I could not agree more.
Oh, man. Well, you have a good week. Give me a call again. And then, by the way, don't forget, you and I have some business to do. Keep that in mind because we have some ideas to throw around, okay?
Well, not only that, man, I'm really liking, well, at some point in the future, the Columbus, Ohio horseshoe against Michigan thing, that really makes that I'm thinking about that a lot right now. But yes, John, we will continue talking. Have a great week, man. Enjoy the bye week. And God, be happy that your hairline's not going to recede anymore this week.
I think I might have some of that hair coming back to me, man. I might have a full mop by tomorrow. I mean, my stress level's going down.
I think I see a few more. I think I see some peach fuzz growing in areas I didn't see it before, man. Good for you.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That Propecia came through for me. Hair Club for Men. Hey, I need a new sponsor for the show. Hair Club for Men. Call me up.
That's right. That's right.
Have a good week, man. Thanks for the call.
You got it, man. Take care.
Take it easy. Kent, let me tell you this. Kent, we got 802. You're coming up next. Kent says, John, you better keep me safe from them drunk drinking Irish fans. Kent, tell me you've never been to a Notre Dame tailgate without telling me you've never been to a Notre Dame tailgate. Kent, buddy, you're safe in South Bend at the tail. Well, maybe not the whole city of South Bend, but the tailgating areas, you're going to be totally safe. The Notre Dame crowd, even though we're drinking Irish, you're not going to have a problem with your physical safety. And you're definitely not when you're walking around with Always Irish, hanging out with my people. We'll have a fun time. 802. What do you want the Irish to do? You're on the line.
John, my Irish brother, how we doing today?
I'm doing very well. Listen, man, I feel like the whole operation we have going here has a little bit more juice and energy to it this week. How do you feel about things? Give it to me.
It's always good. It's always good after a win.
Isn't it,
though?
though?
Dynamic changes like you wouldn't believe.
But it's like, but wait, man. Hey, but we won against Cal too, and it still didn't feel like this. This was actual notable progress. We may actually have an offense we can use. Like, I mean, there was a lot of things to genuinely like. This was improvement.
Oh, sure. All across the board. There's some stuff I think they need to tighten up, but what a fun time to watch the Irish. You know, obviously, you got to give credit to Harry Heastan. That offensive line, like Coach Freeman said, they are an offensive and defensive line driven program.
Have to be.
It's good.
Have
stuff.
to be.
I
Even when they get quarterback and wide receiver talent, I still want them to be an offensive and defensive line based team first and then build from it. You are right. That is Notre Dame's DNA, and Notre Dame's never winning anything without that identity coming to fruition every week.
Absolutely. And I think, Joe Alt and Patterson on the left side were destroying the North Carolina defensive line, and we need to run behind them all the time. And it was so good to see Estime just go ahead and run really hard. I'm just proud of the boys, man. I'm proud of them. I really am. I think their confidence is back. Obviously the what's between the ears is huge in college sports, or any sports in general. They have some confidence now. They got kicked in the teeth with Marshall. The first half of Cal was not very good, but that second half of Cal, and now obviously building on North Carolina, it's good. It's good for them. I'm proud of them.
Yeah, and you have a real opportunity here. You got a couple wins. Now you have a bye week to get a little healthier and then further structure out this offense around what worked. BYU is a big turning point, man. If you could get that one in the desert and then be looking at Stanford UNLV, that's a good midseason run. And that's got to be the big medium range vision right now. So you got to find a way to win in the desert, baby. You got to win in the desert.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. If we can put something together against BYU, I'll be at the Stanford game at night at home. That's a 3-game winning streak for the boys.
Yep.
That's huge. That's something to build on, and it's exciting.
Yeah, it really is. Man, I'm just so happy that for the first time since, leading into Ohio State before any games were played, that there's some real energy and real reasons for legitimate positivity, not reaching, not what I want or hope, but we saw some practical results that indicate the arrow's pointing in the right direction. And given the circumstances, that's what all we can ask for. And everybody just feel a little better about it, because I do.
Oh, for sure. And I think I listened to you the other day. We were talking about the receivers. We're obviously throwing it to the tight end and our running backs, but you know what? Michael Mayer is the man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
you put him on any team in the country other than Georgia, he's going to get 10 to 12 targets for sure. That guy we need to actually embrace that kid. He's not going to be around after this year.
Yep.
He's making a huge name for himself at Notre Dame. Perhaps the best tight end ever to come out of this program.
Man, he's
and he's
tough.
fun to watch. He's a beast. They are bouncing, linebackers, safeties, they're all bouncing off of him. It's so, and he can catch. He's got phenomenal hands. He's so fun to watch.
You know what I like about him the more I watch and I'm looking for different things? One of the nuanced things I like about him is you talk about like the difference of being a really good college tight end and then being an NFL guy. His body positioning, like he just knows how to position his body to like box out a defender and like angle. Little nuanced things he does is great. And then once he gets the ball, it's just a bowling ball and guys are bouncing off him. It's lovely. And I'll say it again. There is no amount of balls thrown to that guy in a game I'm going to say is too many. That number doesn't exist. There ain't a number on the dial. There is no number on the dial. Feed him.
Amen. Amen.
Especially when you have questionable wide receiver stuff. You got to throw it to any guy you can catch. Give him the ball.
And John, before I go, I have one thing. I've been in marketing and sales for years, and I love your show. I think you're doing a fantastic job. You got 100 people watching. You got 4,500 subscribers. I tell you what, me being a season ticket holder, especially from Vermont, I can't make every game. If I did, my wife would kill me. But I only go to 1 or 2 games, so I try to sell them to Notre Dame fans on these Facebook groups.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've dove into Facebook much, but I counted up the groups that I'm part of on Facebook. There's over 70,000 people that you might have the ability to actually throw a little video on those pages, and let's get you 20,000 subscribers here.
Hey, I've thought of
grow your business.
Yeah, I've thought of this, and I've gone down that path. I'm not the most Facebook isn't my main thing. I'm on Twitter more for this. I've tried that, but some of those groups get weird about you posting your own stuff. Like you join the group, but spam it with your own affiliate links or like some of that. I've run into a little bit of that when I try to post my stuff in those groups, but it is definitely something I need to get more into. More exposure is great. So I really appreciate it. And I do need to get more active on there.
Sure. But anyway, I just want to let you know, hey, it's always it's a pleasure now. I'm hooked. Watch your show when it pops up, and you're doing a great job, man.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. And when you do get into town once or twice a year for a game, hit me up. I always love meeting new people, man. I would love that.
Now you're going to be at Stanford, and you've got something going on, right?
I'm going to be there for Stanford. They have the reunion for the 77 championship team, and I've been invited to some of those pregame festivities, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal to me. So I'm going to make sure I do that before the game in the afternoon. And then Clemson, I'll be in all weekend for Clemson. I got a house staying there Friday, so we'll go out Friday night, do all that, and then all day tailgating Saturday, and then the game.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Well, thanks again, man. Thanks for the kind words and the idea. I'm always looking for ways to expand the brand.
All right, buddy. Listen, you have a great week, and go Irish.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Man, I like it. People have ideas to make me the brand better. Kent says attitudes change after a good whooping. Kent, You don't understand, Kent. This is Notre Dame, man. When I walk out of Notre Dame after a home loss, I am the one mad, cursing, kicking the ground, stomping out. And most of the other people walking by me are like, what a great day in the park. What a wonderful afternoon for me to see my old classmates at the University of Notre Dame. Never mind that we just lost this game. I had a great day having my picnic in the park. And then I said a prayer. Half those people don't care if we win or lose, Kent. I'm telling you, I don't know what environment you're used to, Kent, but this ain't it. Nobody's going to beat you up if Ohio State beats Notre Dame at home. Our fans will probably shake your hand and say, thank you for coming here and giving us this beating, sir. Safe travels to Columbus. All right? So trust me, Kent, you ain't going to have any worries coming to a Notre Dame game with me. You're totally safe. I seriously don't think you understand how nice the Notre Dame fan base is. They're going to be way too nice to you, and I'm probably a part of the problem with that. So on that note, thanks everybody for being here. Love the energy today. Everybody's in a better mood now. So I love the energy. Full bank of calls all day. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for the chat. We will talk to you soon. Later, Kent. You're rolling with me, man. You're going to be safe as can be. Have a good one.